Viewers, you're watching A Vision Entertainment. We are here with a special guest. This man, he gave us 1,000 tapes plus. I know it have to be plus, you know.
Yes.
This man was co-chairman. No, I'm sorry. Let me go back. He is co-chairman at the Hip Hop Hall of Fame and was
Yes.
the former executive director of the National Hip Hop Museum in Washington, D.C. Right?
Yes.
Global brand ambassador for several hip hop organizations and currently have a radio show, Planet of the Tapes, on LL Cool J Rock the Bell, Series XM. This is the man, Geechie Dan. You hear his name in raps. You hear his name. Some of the artists speak your name. Peace, brother. How you doing, man?
Hey, peace, brother. Thank you. I appreciate the introduction, and thank you for reaching out to me as well for this interview.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I try not to hog up the shine, the spotlight, and all that. I kind of, because a lot of people feel like I'm just some dude that's just looking for the shine, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So I kind of fall back from doing interviews and all that, because it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's not about me. It's about, first and foremost, God, because God, he poured it into me years ago that I should I should get back into what I love.
Okay.
And I love hip hop, and so I felt the need to
get back into it.
Live my life and doing something, being successful in something I love to do. And so for the last 8 years, I've been doing that. I've been a servant of hip hop, and just doing the right thing in my life by hip hop, by myself, by my wife, by the pioneers that started hip hop. Because I always felt like the pioneers, the icons, the legends, they don't get the accolades that they should be getting.
That's right.
For starting a culture from scratch, such as hip hop. And so a lot of times I try not to make it about me. I try to make it about them. I'm trying to, what I'm saying, it's a sacrifice, and it's the right thing to do, because they deserve it. They deserve the right to be revered.
Yeah.
And we're living in a society today that we don't honor, we don't go right, we don't do the right thing by honoring people no more, and being respectful and giving them their accolades now while they're above ground. You know what I'm saying? We don't do that.
Well, we're here now to give them that throughout the interview. You know what I mean? And I want you to just can you take me back to the essence on how you grew up in Hollis, Queens?
Okay. Well, I am from Queens, Hollis, St. Albans, Farmers Boulevard, 112 Road to be exact. Hollis, coming up in Hollis at that time, oh man, it was as far as growing up, it just seemed like it was the right place at the right time for to be brought up and to be raised in Queens.
Yeah.
And hip hop is introduced on a commercial level, from the Bronx, and from Rappers Delight, Planet Rock. But when Run DMC, when they came out, they were like, man, this is what we've been wishing for. We've been praying. We've been wanting somebody from Queens to emulate well what was going on in the Bronx. So when Run DMC, came on the scene, it was like a breath of fresh air. It was like, wow, we got our own heroes.
Right.
And being that Run DMC's from Queens, from Hollis, LL's from Farmers, it meant it was just like the cherry on top. You know what I'm saying? It was just it just made it more special. Because for them to come from our community and dream like we was, and dream of doing it big on a bigger level than what that other artists were already doing.
Yeah. Just real quick. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just had to get this. I'm sorry, real quick. Apologize. Hollis, Queens. You grew up. I want to say LL because you mentioned Farmers Boulevard.
Yes.
And Run DMC. Were you all hanging together, or did you know each other at that time when you were like younger?
Well, LL, I did. Me and LL, we went to the same PS public school 118. We went to the same junior high school. We had the same friends on Farmers. His friends were my friends.
Okay.
So we're talking about teenagers.
Yeah.
We're talking about 12, 13, 14 years old.
Wow.
So I already knew LL. Now Run DMC, I knew of them because they from Hollis.
Yeah.
Now let me explain to you how. Let me explain to you and everyone that's listening how crazy it is that my neighborhood produced the most hip hop artists.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's let me give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
LL grew up 7 blocks away from me.
All right, 7 blocks.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The R&B group Intro.
Wow.
You heard of Intro, the R&B group back in the 90s?
No, Intro. No, I remember. If you know a song, you sing a song I might know, but
they did a song. They did a remake of Stevie Wonder's song. They came out in the 90s. There was an R&B group. Jeffrey Sanders. He was part of the group. He lived a couple blocks away from me.
Okay.
In one direction. Okay, so now we got LL living 7 blocks. The R&B group Intro's another couple blocks away from me. FUBU, For Us By Us, the clothing line.
Yeah, FUBU, yeah.
Okay, they were 6 blocks away from me.
Wow, so y'all had a lot of art.
Now hold on. Now DMC for Run DMC, he's 4 blocks away from me. Then you got Jam Master Jay, he's 6 blocks away from me. You got Tribe Called Quest. You got Q-Tip. Yeah. He on Linden Boulevard. He's about 9 blocks away from me.
All that time.
Yeah, so you got Freedom Williams from CNC Music Factory. He's about 11 blocks away from me. Mark Jackson from the New York Knicks. He's right around the corner from me. He's right like a block away from me.
That talent in one area like that. Wow. Right.
You got Hype Williams. He's about 11 blocks away from me, off of Linden.
Director, the movie director.
Now, the movie director. So you got all these individuals. You got Ed Lover from UNTV Rap. He's about 12 blocks away from me as well. You got Russell Simmons. He's about 12 blocks away. You got Run from Run DMC. He's about 11, 12 blocks away. So now, when we talking about my community, this is how my community look 83, 84, 85, 86. On any given day, you go to Farmers Boulevard, you wait for the bus, you see LL driving down in a brand new red Audi. Then you go on Hollis Avenue, you're running to DMC, going into the grocery store, getting Old English liquor. 40-ounce beers, you know what I'm saying? Then we go a couple blocks away and you run into Salt and Pepper. Wow. Then you go in another direction, you see Jam Master Jay driving down Hollis Avenue in the BMW. Wow. Then you see, the beginnings of FUBU just, coming out with a 92. So
I'm 92.
My neighborhood, this is what I saw from my neighborhood. Every day. So it was just a glorious time to come up in my neighborhood at that time. And now I started rhyming back in 83.
82, 83. Yeah.
83, yeah.
Okay.
But I was collecting tapes while I was rhyming and, trying to emulate what I heard on the tapes that I was collecting.
Yeah.
I was collecting, so when people wanted to talk about the new Cold Crush 4 tape, or they wanted to hear it, they would come to my house, or they, because I had the boombox radio. I would be in front of my step on my house. I'd be in front of my house on the step with my radio, and I'd be playing the tape that everybody's talking about or everybody wants. And I'm the only one in the hood that got the tape.
now you will be in a house recording off the radio, or you just like, how did you gather these tapes? Like, how did you get?
When I started out, I was recording tapes off of BAU radio, Zulu Beats, World Famous Supreme Team Show, Mr. Magic, when he was on 105.9, when he was on, he was on before he went to BLS.
Okay.
So I'm listening to all these shows. Monday night had BAU at Adelphia University with Mr. Bill, Dr. Dre, Operating Room. So they were Chuck D, Flavor, Keith and Hank Shockley.
On the radio, right?
That was on college radio. So that was on Monday night.
Yeah.
So Monday night, I'm playing. I'm either at the radio station or I'm recording the radio show.
Okay.
Tuesday night, you got World Famous Supreme Team Show that comes on WHBI. Then you got Wednesday night, you got Zulu Beats coming on WHBI. You got Jerry Bloodrock. You got the Awesome 2, Teddy Ted Awesome 2 show coming on like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning on WHBI. So all these shows are coming on late night, these radio shows that's, playing hip hop, because they wasn't playing hip hop during the daytime on commercial FM radio at that time. And while they were while they, while these shows are being while they're being played, they would occasionally play a tape from a party, from a club, from a park, and I would get maybe the 6-7 minutes of that snippet of that tape that they play. Oh, wow. And then when that started happening, I made it a point to see if I can get the whole entire party, park jam, block party, or whatever, whatever the club, wherever they was doing, I wanted to get the whole tape. So I started meeting friends.
We're talking both sides of the tape. You clear one side and go to B side. Right.
I wanted more than the 7 minutes that they would, what I'm saying? I wanted the whole 60 minutes, 100. I wanted the 2-3 hours. I wanted the whole tape.
That's right.
So while I'm recording this, I'm meeting people from Harlem early on, like in 1983, 1984. I started working in Manhattan. I was on a co-op program in high school where I go to school one week and go to work the next week. Okay. And it would alternate. So I would meet friends at my job from all over the city. It was people at the on the co-op program all over the city. So I got people in my job from Washington Heights, Harlem, Brooklyn, the Bronx. So they wasn't into hip hop as much as like myself. Some of them were, some of them wasn't, but their brothers were. And so one day I'm talking to my homeboy Richie. He's Puerto Rican, Spanish dude from Castle Hill in the Bronx. And I'm like, yo, he knows how much I love hip hop, and I'm collecting, my tape collection. I got maybe maybe 30 tapes back in 1983, 1984. I got maybe about 30 tapes, if that. So he tells me, yo, I got a tape that I'm gonna see if I can get for you for your collection. And I said, word? So I'm happy now. So he said, yeah, I'm gonna talk to my brother and I'll get the tape from my brother because my brother got the tape, and I'll get it for you. And he told me it was a Cold Crush 4 tape against Dr. Rock and the Force MCs in Paterson, New Jersey in 1983.
So
and I was
battle.
like,
this a battle versus, right?
Yes.
Wow.
So I'm jumping up and down. I'm like a kid in the candy store, yo. And I'm like, yo, for real? And so Christmas time come, he gave me the tape. He wrapped up the tape in a Christmas package with a bow on it.
Yeah.
Christmas bow on it. He said, Merry Christmas. Man, I ripped up that package and it was a cassette tape. And I listened to that tape for the whole week. That whole week I played that tape. I couldn't stop listening. Wow. And then so my interest of the tapes, my passion grew. The more tapes that I started getting, my passion just grew for more. My hunger for tapes grew. Like I wanted all the tapes.
It was a must that you get all the tapes.
It was a must.
Now,
and I would go anywhere to get those tapes.
Now, see you was very determined. Let me go back a little bit.
Okay.
now that was interesting. But you grew up, you born and raised in Queens, right?
Yes.
You weren't the type who liked to stay in the hood a lot. Do you think if it wasn't for you traveling, do you think you'll be where you are today? Because I know you didn't stay in the hood too much, so you was always out.
Always out. I was always exploring, meeting new people, meeting people that had the same interests, hip hop.
That's right.
Like myself. So when I went to Long Island and met Dr. Dre and met Chuck D and Flavor, that was my family. I immediately, they adopted me as family because it was like we shared this interest. We shared the same interests and the same passion, and we love hip hop. And when we got together at BAU, at Spectrum City, it was just like, wow, I found, 5 other individuals that love
what you do.
They love what I do.
That's right.
And so all I did was just meet individuals like that, whether they were from Long Island. Mm-hmm. Then I got down with ZULUNATION in 1983. So I started, building with, some of the brothers from the Bronx, mm-hmm. and started attending some of the ZULUNATION meetings at Bronx River in the community center. I didn't go that much, but when I did go, I tried to, make the best of it. I remember meeting Bambaataa at the time, Jazzy J, Crazy Legs from the Rocksteady crew.
Yeah, Rocksteady crew, yeah.
Yeah, so
B Street.
And then so my interest, so now we're talking about not just collecting Cold Crush 4 tapes. Now I'm collecting ZULUNATION tapes. Sonic Force, Cosmic Force, Funk Machine, Jazzy 5 MCs. You know what I'm saying? So Queen Lisa Lee, these are I started broadening out. So now I'm getting tapes from, Cold Crush 4, Jazzy 5,
ZULUNATION, Debbie D,
Rock from the Funky 4, Furious 5, Grandmaster Flash, Theodore, WizKid.
Yeah.
Then I started getting more, Harlem, like Fearless 4. Then, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Mm-hmm. Then I started getting tapes from Jersey, from other crews from Jersey and Connecticut and Long Island. And my tape collection went from just 40 to 50 tapes in 1983 to today in 2024. I got about 1,100.
Yeah, so you got 1,100 tapes. Now, listen, I need to go back to the 1,100 tapes, right? I just need to know, did those tapes provide like hope? Because when you go back and listen to music, it makes you feel like kind of good by listening to your favorite tracks. But did it provide hope for you? Like maybe like when you were going through some hard times, you would pop on some of them tapes. What did you use the tapes? I know you love the music, but what else did you use them for? Listen to them for.
As I mentioned earlier, I grew up in the Kingdom Hall. My mother was a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
She put a lot of pressure on me to take it further and ultimately get baptized and dedicate my life to Jehovah. And that's not something that I wanted to do. I never wanted to be a Jehovah's Witness. I never wanted to, when I turned 18, I thought just by default, I don't got to go no more.
Okay, yeah,
but my mother,
you're older.
My mother had different plans, and she made it really, really unbearable at times for me to love my passion. Okay. And she started to cop block. She really started like getting to the point where she just like, sometimes she'll throw my clothes, clothes that I was wearing, my sheepskins, my leather. She would throw that, she'll start throwing my stuff in the Goodwill box.
Yeah.
And, she would start making it real depressing because she's trying to, she's not going to allow me to do my dream. She's not encouraging it. She's not trying to give me any hope about doing or living hip hop. So these tapes gave me inspiration. They provided some type of hope when these dark days, and there was a lot of dark days that my mother would put a lot of, pressure on me to go to the Kingdom Hall and give Bible talks and go with the Watchtown Awakes and field service. And the older that I was getting, the more peer pressure she was applying on me to get me in that direction and try to get me away from to get me away from hip hop, what I loved. Okay. And and she almost had, she did a good job, doing it. Yeah. But she almost had me, man. But these tapes, one thing about these tapes, man, I tell people, once you listen to them and you start emulating, and you feel what they was doing on the tape, and what it's hard to let go. Yeah. Hip hop had me. Hip hop had me. It was a go for me. I was like, yo, these tapes, this hip hop culture, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. Yeah. Yeah. And not only was collecting tapes, but I was also, rhyming. I started rhyming in, on Farmers Boulevard and the park, O'Connell Park. And I was going to, the different clubs in the neighborhood. And, that was just, coming out. So, and my mother would hear about me rhyming in the park and rhyming on the radio, on college radio with BAU. And she would just, go in on me. And she got the Jehovah's Witnesses. Sometimes she would get them involved to discourage me. Yeah, that's a fad.
Come on back. Don't do that. Come on back with us and all that.
Yeah, that's a fad. That music you doing, that's a fad. That you listen to the Run DMC, and they would get the names wrong, incorrectly say they were incorrect. They would do it on purpose. Like, you got LL Fool J and Run DMQ. Yeah, they would give Bible talks
sarcastically, you know what I mean?
Yeah, be sarcastic, being arrogant and sarcastic. And and it was times where I was in front of the Kingdom Hall, which ironically was right on Hollis Avenue. We're talking about a block, 2 blocks away from Jam Master Jay. Yeah. He would drive by in his BMW and slow down, and he said, "You going to hell?" Because I would be in front of the Kingdom Hall rhyming. Wow. I got to the point where I didn't care no more. I was like, bump it. If my mother's gonna make me go to the Kingdom Hall, fine. I'm gonna rhyme in front of the Kingdom Hall.
Wow, I mean, my wife and I have talks all the time about your passion and the church, and some things you cannot do. The church, set it out there with things you can't do. But it's like, if you have a talent, right, and a passion for something, like God gives everybody talent, you just got to find it. You got to tap into it. If you like something and it's bringing you money, I'm not talking about something that's going against His word or going against the way how He wants you to be. But if you got a passion for something, do you supposed to feel convicted and stop doing what you're doing? Or like, what do you do? Like, if this will help you get out the hood and to have a better life for your family, what do you supposed to do? Like, it's hard,
Yeah, and the Jehovah's Witnesses unfortunately don't want you to think that way. That's an independent way of thinking, which you're supposed to be. But they don't. They want to control. They want to control your life. They want to be involved, so much involved in your life. They are willing to control what you think and what you say and what you do with your life. And they don't care. And they're arrogant about that. And so my mother, you know, unfortunately at that time, she got caught up with that, with the same way that they was thinking. She was thinking the same way, because she was like, look, I'm tired of you hearing about you rhyming and you know, I used to tape the shows. I remember one time I was taping Zulu beats. It came on Wednesday night from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was recording my shows on her stereo system. She had a Pioneer stereo system. It was brand new, but I didn't quite know how to operate it. I didn't quite know all the buttons and what the buttons do. So I thought that you had to record the volume loud for your tape to come out loud. I didn't know there was a record level button.
Oh, wow. Okay.
At the time. So I'm in the basement 1 o'clock in the morning and I got to go to school, and I got to get up to go to school at 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning. I got to get up. But I got to get the show. Yeah, I got to get the show. I got to take this. So when I first started recording some of these shows, they used to come on, you know, in the middle of the night. I recorded them loud. And if the bass would go through the house and it get to her room, she would come down and she would shut me down. She would shut the whole system down. So I said, I have to find a way to record these shows without her interrupting.
Why not
without me getting in trouble.
Headphones.
Right. So I said, okay, I'll put the headphones in the headphone jack, and if, you know, the music will come out through the headphones. Now I killed the problem. So that's how I started. But at first, my mother would turn the system off. She would, you know, tell me not to use her system no more, to tape that garbage. And so, you know, for, you know, a couple weeks, I had to figure it out. I had to figure out how I was going to record these shows and still, you know, still be able to listen to my shows while her, you know, just you know what I'm saying? So I was like, dang, man. So each time obstacle that she put in front of me, I had to figure it out. How was I going to get past this? Because it seemed like each month, each year, she'll put a new obstacle in front of me.
Wow. Like
you know, she was like,
roadblock.
If I started missing some of the meetings at the Kingdom Hall, she would lock me out the house.
Wow. She would strict, man.
Yeah, she would lock up the basement so I can't get to the equipment to record my shows. So she would do things like that to discourage me not to, you know, go any further with hip hop.
What
she would pay me to make comments at the Kingdom Hall.
Wait,
and if I didn't make,
you said she would pay you?
She would pay me. My mother used to pay me $10, $20 to make a comment, to raise my hand and make a comment.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She thought that was encouragement. She thought that she was encouraging me by paying me to make comments at the Kingdom Hall.
Wow.
So I can start going further away from hip hop and going towards, you know, preparing me to, you know, to be a Jehovah's Witness.
Now, because right now, I'm sorry, your success has I'm gonna see it reached your goals, what you wanted, and you're still going forward. How does she feel now? If she's still around, how does she feel now about what you're doing?
My mother is 92 years old. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. She will be turning 92.
92. Wow. Okay.
And ironically, her birthday is August 11th. The same day as hip hop.
Yeah.
So, I just saw my mother a month ago. She's in Virginia.
Yeah.
And she's in a nursing home. right? And
Yeah.
she saw the pictures in my phone. I got pictures with everybody in hip hop.
Everybody. Yeah. Yeah.
I got awards, trophies, and I'm on Rock the Bells, and she's like, "Tell LL thank you," and she's tearing up.
Oh, she said, tell LL.
And I said,
Thank you.
"Yeah." She told me to tell LL thank you for helping me out, and
Okay. Okay.
she's like, "Okay," she's accepted that, but it took years for her to get to where we could be in the same room, just having a conversation, just a mom and son conversation.
Yeah.
It took 20, 30 years to get to that point because it was just a lot of, she didn't want me to be, she didn't want me to do she wanted me to be a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah. The support wasn't there. She kind of pushed you to the side from what you're telling me. It was like, it wasn't there.
Right. And I resented her for that. And I didn't want to, and I prayed about this. I went to God. I said, "God, please help me so I'll be able to respond respectfully to my mother." Because over the years, because I had so much resentment, I didn't respond back to her the way I should have been responding back to her with honor. And God said, "I don't care what she didn't want you to do. She's still your mother. You still have to honor her, regardless."
Yeah.
And she knew that. So it was almost like, yeah, you have to honor me, regardless how messed up of a person that I am. You still have to honor me. And I was like, okay. And I said, okay. And I had to ask God to help me. I begged him. I said, "God, please help me, because I want to be successful in this. I want to be able to be, I don't want to have a day go by, no more days to go by where I don't, and I don't, I don't feel like I got to apologize, or I don't regret." And so once I did that, God was able to help me 8 years ago when I made that decision to come back to New York and do right by God and do right by hip hop and do right by everything I do in my life moving forward, do the right thing.
Yeah.
And he used my mother as an example how I should honor hip hop. If I can't honor my mother, then I can't honor hip hop. I can't even honor my own mother. So I had to find a way, with God's help, how to honor my mother, where it's sincere. I don't hold nothing against her. I don't have any bad feelings about her or anything. I love my mother, and I just wanted to do what I wanted. I just wanted to be successful in life and something I wanted to do. And I asked God, I took it to God, and God was able to help me out with that. And so I give God the glory on that. And I had to use my mother as an example. So now it's very easy for me to honor people. It's very easy for me to put up a post about others, honoring all our hip hop pioneers, all our women, all our music icons and legends. And that's what I do. And God has taken me further, a whole lot further than, than I ever imagined.
Yeah.
But I had to find a way to do it, because I didn't want to leave the earth mad at my mother, and I didn't want to leave the earth not being successful in something that I love to do. Now I'm good in telecom, no doubt. I'm okay with that. I was good, I made a good living from that, but it wasn't something I love. It's not something I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you an example. This week, I got pads of ideas for hip hop. I wrote down maybe 20 ideas just past weekend.
For hip hop.
For hip hop. I got ideas for each pioneer that I come across, each legend, each celebrity. I got an idea for. So when I see them, I got an idea for you. Yo, DMC, I got an idea for you. Yo, LL, I got.
Take heed to that when you.
Yeah, and people, LL, I run ideas by LL all the time. He's like, yo, where do you get where do you get all this? Where did all this come from with you? I know you passionate, but dag, brother, you got so many ideas. I said, I've been dreaming about this all my life since we was kids, since we was teenagers. Wow. I watched LL do the unimaginable coming from our community, coming from the hood. And all I did was watch and learn and study. And then the passion with these tapes, I used the tapes as a vehicle to open up other opportunities and open up other doors for me.
Yeah.
And the tape started it. I can tell you if I listen to a tape, I can tell you within the 2 minutes of the tape, what's on the tape, where the tape was at, where the party was at, who was there, if there was a flyer connected to it.
Yeah.
I know the routines from the performers. I can tell you there's a story with each tape. There's tapes that have been with me through the dark days. And then I got tapes. Some of my favorite tapes has been with me when I had to drive 12 hours to another city for a telecom job. Some of these tapes been with me when I was getting kicked out of my house in Queens, when my mother kicked me out. Some of these tapes been with me when I was going through my first marriage. I had this is my third marriage. So some of these tapes been with me through thick and thin. Wow. Some of these tapes I lost throughout the years, and some of the tapes I was able to replace. And then there's tapes that I wish I wish I'd have made a copy of now, because it's hard to get some of these tapes now that I had back in 1985 and 86.
Where do you keep these? Like, do you have a special safe you put these tapes in? Like, where do you put them at? I just would like to know that. I
got these tapes in bags and in cases in my house. And then now I do have copies of, I got everything I have on cassette tape is on CD. So I got.
Oh, you transferred it.
Yeah, I got CD, and then everything on CD is on MP3.
Okay.
So when you talk about the tapes, everything I got on tape is already on MP3. It's already digitalized.
Okay.
And it's on CD, and it's on the hard drive, and it's on the thumb drive. So I got like four backups just in case.
Wow. I mean, when you say 1,100 tapes, I mean, because people don't keep tapes. I mean, they have tapes somewhere, but you have everything. So that means you have songs that's forgotten about, that people just forgot about. You have those songs on those tapes, like those classic,
I got tapes,
classic hits.
Yeah. I got a tape with Biz Markie, first time on the mic when he was 14 years old at a party in Brentwood, Long Island, 1979. First time Biz Markie's on the mic. No one has this tape.
Damn,
that's one tape. I got tapes of Mr. Magic shows. When Mr. Magic was on WHBI, I got about 40 Mr. Magic shows when he was on WHBI. I got 40 of them.
Wow. Go ahead.
I got Cold Crush 4 tapes. I got battles. I got music seminar tapes. I got go-go tapes. I got reggae. When they doing reggae parties. I got those tapes too. So when we talk about tapes, we're not just talking about a Cold Crush 4 tape. We're not just talking about a ZULUNATION tape. We're talking about all types of tapes.
All genre. You have everything.
All genres, yeah. Anything that's live. I got tapes of me on the radio. I got tapes of early LL at a block party.
Yeah.
I got a tape of him at a battle. I got a tape of Big Daddy Kane at a battle. I got a tape of Rakim when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
So I got tapes from Philly. I got some Schoolie
I
D
was going to
tapes.
ask you, did you ever do Lady B or Kobe Cole back in the day, like record their shit?
Yes, I got one of their shows.
Yeah.
On tape. I got the battle with Steady B and Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince, okay.
So I got that tape.
Wow.
I got Cash Money at high school.
Marvelous Mar.
Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah.
I got Grand Wizard Rashid. I got a tape of him. So I got tapes of, some crews out of Philly, West Philly, North Philly, so I got tapes of them. And so I got about 50 to 60 tapes of Philly tapes, hip hop.
How often do you listen to these tapes? I know you said
all the time.
You still have how can I put this? Sometimes you got to be in the mood to hear certain things. You always in the mood to hear these tapes?
Always. And then when I get new ones, like I'm getting a tape. I was supposed to get a tape over the weekend. A friend of mine, Tape Master B, he was going to give me a tape of an early tape of a party in Far Rockaway, Queens, with an early Rozelle.
Yeah, Rozelle, the beatboxer, yeah.
The beatbox, right. This is when he was a teenager. This is the first time that he came out. This is an early tape of him. So I wasn't able to meet up with the guy, with my man Tape Master B, so he's going to mail it to me today. So when I get that tape, I'm going to listen to it for about a week.
Yo, listen, Geechie Dan, man, we got to go back. I told you have a story, man. You need 4 or 5 books. We have to go back to something that I always wanted to talk about. Let's take it back to the club called Black and White, which is on 112th Ave and Farmers Boulevard, right?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
It was you, Fel-E-O, I'm going to say the right thing, Fel-E-O?
Yes.
Rhyming, and somehow a beef came between you and LL. Can you tell me what happened with that?
Okay, so I'm in the club. It's at the back of the club. It's called the Black and White. It was a club called the Black and White on Farmers Boulevard at 112th Avenue.
Yeah.
My man Fel-E-O from 112th Avenue. I lived around the corner on 112 Road. So he's there with his DJ, and they're playing Catch the Beat by T-Ski Valley. And Fel-E-O was rhyming, and he passed the mic to me. So we're going back and forth rhyming.
Mm-hmm.
So out of nowhere, I go and I say, it's not a fable and it's not a myth. Cool J's real name is James Todd Smith. Yeah. But when it comes to rapping, he can't compare because his hairline is back here, I swear. And somebody cut the music off and was like, oh, snap. Oh, yo. And everybody like, yo, where did that come from? And it was just off my top of my head. I was known to, freestyle off my head a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't write that down. To this day, I never wrote it down.
It just came out, just like that.
It just came out. And so LL was either en route to the Black and White. I don't know if he was already en route, or he heard and then came in route. But what I was told, he had heard that I was there, and somebody that was with him told him. I don't know if they went to his house to get him, or when they saw him, he was already en route. Okay. All right. So LL gets there. Maybe about an hour later, 30 minutes later. It seemed like a long time, but back then it might have been maybe 10 minutes, but it seemed longer. He comes in the club. I put my hand out, extended my hand out. Yo, Todd, what's up? And he looked my hand. He slapped my hand down.
But that was your man. That was your friend anyway, right? You and LL grew up together.
Yeah. But I took a shot at him.
Okay, yeah. But yeah,
which wasn't cool because he wasn't there. He heard about it, and then I try to make it like it wasn't nothing, but it was something. You can't, right? So I took a shot at him, and it didn't work. It ain't, the outcome of it wasn't cool. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just, so he did what's natural. He took my hand and snapped it down, and he pushed me. So after he pushed me,
he pushed you back, like, you know.
He pushed me. Yeah, he pushed me. So when he pushed me back, it started getting to like a fighting stance, you know, and a chair was thrown. Somebody threw a chair in between me and him. And we went outside. Now, once we got outside, the party is over now. Yeah. The party is over. Yeah. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. Party over, and we arguing in front of the black and white.
Yeah.
And he left, and I left. Now I see him a couple days later, and he got all his friends with him. He is standing on the other side of Farmers Boulevard, across the street, across Farmers Boulevard.
All his homies there.
Yeah, and now his homies are my homies.
Yeah, I'm quite sure y'all know each other.
But they closer to him because he grew up with them.
Okay.
He's closer to them. Okay. So he said, "Yo, Geechie." I said, "Yo, what's up, man?" He said, "Yo, come here." I said, Nah, man, I ain't coming over there. You got all your friends. You got all them dudes with you. I had nobody with me. So he said, Nah, ain't no beef. So I come across the street, and we just chopped it up, and we shook hands, and we was cool. And then I called them out again at a spot at the game room on Farmers Boulevard called Bobo's. And it wasn't that many people in there. It was some of the same people that was at the black and white, but it wasn't that many. Because at the black and white was bigger and can hold more people, and it just seemed like everybody in the hood was there that night. But at Bobo's, it was our little game room where we all hung out and played asteroids and space invaders, and you know what I'm saying, try to get girls' phone numbers, you know, teenage stuff. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And so I called them out again. I said, "Yo, what's up now?" You know. So being that I initiated, I had to go first.
Right.
So I initiated. I went first, and then he went after me, and I took the L.
Yeah.
He destroyed, you know what I'm saying? He
came back strong.
Right. And then after that, we became friends. We shook hands, and that was the last time that ever, you know, anything like that happened again. We became friends.
Wow, you know, that those, like I said, those stories are deep. And another one, I know that you had to been a fan. You love Uptown Saturday Night.
Yes, I do.
And I know that movie is the classic, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Let's talk about Geechie Dan, the name.
I wanted a name that fit, and I wanted a name that stuck, and a name that people can remember, and a name that no one had.
Yeah.
So, being that Let's Do It Again and Uptown Saturday Night were my favorite movies with Bill Cosby, and Sidney Poitier.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to Sidney Poitier. Rest in peace to Harry Belafonte. So, you know, I was a big fan of those movies, and there was a character that Harry Belafonte played on Uptown Saturday Night named Geechie Dan Buford.
Yeah. So
my real name was Daniel, and so it just kind of fit. Everybody was like, "Yo,
yeah,
Geechie Dan, yo, that fits." You know, I had a nickname prior to that named Bob Hope. That just didn't fit. Because I was a little, you know what I'm saying? I was a little funny little dude. I was goofy.
Yeah. And
you know, I was a little uncoordinated and sloppy. You know, I was just a weird dude. So but I love hip hop, and everybody was getting, you know, to hip hop. They had their, you know, Mikey D and Sweet T and Disc T and that D, you know what I'm saying? So I said, you know what? Geechie Dan kind of fits me.
Geechie Dan.
My real name is Daniel. You know, my character Geechie Dan You know what I'm saying? He was on Uptown Saturday Night. That's my favorite movie.
Right.
So that's why Geechie Dan, the name was born for me.
So that's how the name came about. Geechie Dan, Uptown Saturday Night, and Let's Do It Again. Well, you know, the two favorite movies, but Uptown Saturday Night is how you got the name.
Yes.
Wow. Now you got to take me back to how did you get that call for Rock the Bells Radio? Because I know LL is your homie. So how did that happen?
First and foremost, it took me. I was already doing a show called the Geechie Dan Hip Hop Tape Show.
Okay.
And I was doing my show on pirate FM stations and streaming platforms.
Mm-hmm.
I was already on three or four different streaming platforms.
Okay.
Prior to him giving me a call.
Mm-hmm.
I sent him a demo of my show to his what's it? One of these apps. I sent my show to him. I sent him 3 shows. Old shows I did back in 2018, 2019. And he called me. When I sent him, he called me immediately. Like 10 minutes later, he calls me. I said, "Yo, what's up?"
Yeah.
"Yo, I like those demos. Yo, can you do how many tapes you got?" I said, at that time, I probably had about 900, 800 tapes.
Yeah, you had a lot.
So this was like 2 years ago. It was about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
He called me and he was like, "Yo, can you do this every day? Can you do a show every day?" I said, "It's going to be kind of hard to do this every day, but I can do it every week."
Yeah.
He said, "I bet. I give you an hour and put a show together. What's the name of your show?" I told him Planet of the Tapes because I spoke to Chuck D from Public Enemy about doing a show on his platform. And it was at that time, it was called the Geechie Dan Hip Hop Tape Show. And he was like, "Yo, why don't you take the name Planet of the Tapes?"
Yeah.
He suggested that to me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I said, "Yo, Planet of the Tapes is dope." I said, "Yo, that's dope." So he gave me a logo and I bought it from him. And I started calling my show Planet of the Tapes. And then Diamond the Artist, who was my co-host, my DJ, he was looking to get back into doing radio because he had once done Sirius or Sirius. Yeah, it was before XM. It was before the merger.
Sirius.
So it was just Sirius at the time. We're talking back in 2013, 2012, early on. So he said he wanted to get back, and he had told a cousin of mine that he wanted to get back into doing radio. And my cousin was like, "Yo, my cousin, Geechie Dan." He said, "Oh, Geechie Dan's your cousin?" He said, "Yeah, that's my cousin." He said, "Yo, I need to hook y'all two up." And then Bismarcky, when I was speaking with Bismarcky was saying the same thing. He said, "Yo, I'll help you." He said, "You need to get with Diamond." So this is like the second confirmation.
Diamond Shell or which one? Diamond D, Diamond Shell?
Diamond the Artist.
Okay.
He's from Brentwood.
Okay.
He lived right down the street from Bismarcky.
Okay.
Back in the days.
All right.
And he's Diamond the Artist is EPMD's first DJ, and he also DJ for Prince.
Yeah.
He also done DJ for Beyonce. He also done satellite radio. So he already had experience.
Yeah, he was out there already.
Yeah, he was already out there. He was already major. So I said, Bismarcky told me to get with him. My cousin told me to get with him. We got on the phone and we discussed how we're going to do this show. Okay. And basically, Bismarcky said, "You gotta, people they're not going to understand a Cold Crush 4 tape. They're not going to understand Funky 4 at the T Connection, Dr. Rock and the Force MCs. They're not going to understand a ZULUNATION tape. So you got to give them snippets. You got to play tapes of the bigger the biggest stars, the people that's like Snoop and Nas, Jay-Z and LL and Ice Cube. You got to play tapes of them.
Familiar.
Then you can throw in a Cold Crush 4 tape. Then you can throw in a Fantastic Five, the L Brothers, and Dr. Rock and Force MCs. But you can't do a whole 60 minutes on that. So me and Diamond was like, let's surround our show with hip hop 101s, birthday shout outs, vinyl, and tapes.
Yeah.
Whether they are tapes from my collection or live performances. So let's incorporate all that into a show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we did. Wow. We incorporated vinyl. We incorporated live interviews from some of the pioneers and some of the legends and some of the icons in hip hop. We incorporated some of the snippets from television shows, snippets from the tapes. Then I started, saying happy birthday to everybody. So we incorporated a 60-minute show that was entertaining and not only entertaining, but get some history about, some of these pioneers on these tapes. And start honoring them.
Mm-hmm.
And putting post up about the show, about my show, and about the people that's on these tapes. So they can be respected and they can be revered like our counterparts, like our rock and roll counterparts.
Wow.
And that's how I used the tapes and got me to where I'm at today, because I wanted to honor and show the world what I loved, what I heard on these tapes. I wanted the world to hear this. I just didn't want people in New York to hear it. I wanted the whole world to hear and see. So it was a stepping stone from, Blog Talk Radio, where they can just hear me on Blog Talk Radio. And so I had to crawl. Then I went up to live streaming. So Blog Talk Radio it helped me get to people hearing about these tapes somewhere out there. There's somebody out here playing something with these tapes. Then when I got the live streaming, not only they can hear them, but now they can see them, because I wouldn't have them on my show. I would have whatever tape that I'm playing, I would have the individuals, the pioneers that's on the tape on my show. So if I'm playing a Jazzy 5 tape, I'm getting some members from the Jazzy 5 on the show.
That's right.
And I just started making shows. I just started making shows like that every week. So now I'm taking my dream, I'm taking my passion from not from Blog Talk Radio, but I'm taking it live streaming. Now I'm taking it to satellite radio with LL Cool J Rock the Bells radio. Now I want to take it further. Now I want to take it to TV.
And guess what? You will. And you know why? Because a lot of times things can be difficult, right? But if you set your mind to doing something to stay focused, it's going to happen. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have the doors closing on you. But guess what? When you keep fighting and keep going, it happens. It happens. And it doesn't matter how long it takes, because like that 10th year might be that time. Now is your time. You might have did 9 years, but that 10th year was it right there. So, it's like when you speak it, you also have to put action to it. And there you go.
Yes.
I remember
and it took it's 8 years now. It just didn't happen overnight. I had to put in a lot of work to do this.
That's right.
Like, people don't see, they just see the success of it, part of it, but it's a lot, because I want to be successful in this. So I got to outwork everybody. I have to be up 4 or 5 in the morning. I'm dreaming. I'm writing down my ideas at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm putting up posts on social media, not only on Facebook, but I got to duplicate it and have those numbers on Facebook. I want on Threads, and I want on Instagram.
Wow.
So and it starts from hundreds. Started from hundreds and thousands, then tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands, and then millions. There's 4 billion people. There's 4 billion people on social media. I want my post to have some type of impact
on everybody.
On everybody, because hip hop has impact people's lives. It's global. So that's what I tell people. I tell people that I want to be global. I want to have an impact, and I want to be iconic.
Right.
And hip hop is global. So I want to be what I'm doing here in New York. I want to duplicate it. I want to have Planet of Tapes International. I want to be able to do the same thing that I'm doing with the pioneers and the icons. I want that to be across the board,
right?
In Asia, in India, and Japan, and France, and Costa Rica, and Mexico, Toronto. So now I'm going to be doing more honoring. So now next week I'm going to do Planet of Tapes Present Canada, where I'm going to honor Canadian hip hop artists, right. Nova Scotia, Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, artists from that regions and that from them cities, and then have interviews from some of the artists from Canada, freestyles, play some of their records, have some of their interviews,
right,
and make a show out of it, and have some of them on the phone being interviewed. So now I got Planet of Tapes Canada hip hop. The next I want to do is Planet of Tapes.
Planet of Tapes worldwide now.
Planet of Tapes Australia.
Yeah.
Planet of Tapes in Africa, South Africa. I'm going to do a Planet of Tapes Israel, where I have artists from Israel on the show displaying their music and their freestyles, and artists from Palestine and Gaza. So now I got artists from 2 fighting countries, but they both have hip hop in those countries. So now I create a flyer having artists on the flyer, not separated because that's political. I don't want it to be political. I want it to be hip hop. So I'm going to have a flyer for those artists from those 2 countries and do it the hip hop way. Come together in a hip hop way where we can have artists from both countries playing both their, artists from their country, their music and their freestyles and their live performances and their interviews.
Yeah.
That's a way, and that's my way of seeing that we can, if hip hop
can bring everybody together globally.
Right.
That's like a global situation right there, man.
Right. And it might be able to help some of the problems that some of these government officials and these government leaders can't. Hip hop can do a lot more than people think hip hop can do.
That's right, it can.
They just don't want. A lot of people are just lazy, don't want to put in the work. A lot of people don't think that hip hop can do wonders. Hip hop can do wonders. So I just felt like instead of talking about it and let me try to see if I can create a situation where I might can end their country's war. I can end the war in that country.
Yeah,
by utilizing hip hop. Maybe some of the hip hop artists from Israel and from Gaza, they could be, they come together. And maybe a hip hop performance can be done in each other's respective country.
That's right. That's right.
We can have artists come over to Israel and get down with some of the artists in Israel and then return the favor and vice versa and do the same thing from, Israel artists going over to that country. You know what I'm saying? And say, hey, let's shake hands and let's bring some peace to our countries.
To our country, yeah. Now Geechie, you know what? I was just thinking about. I could be wrong, but or maybe I overlooked it or didn't hear your name. When the 50 years of hip hop was going on, they had tons of shows. I didn't hear them mention Geechie Dan, and I'm quite sure you probably were invited, but I don't, I don't know. Were you invited to any of those shows that was going on, the 50 years of hip hop and all of that?
I wasn't invited.
Okay, and why is that? Because you should have been on the card, all of them.
But my mother told me years ago, you never go nowhere uninvited.
Okay.
So if I wasn't invited, it's all good. I'm the type of a person, I take that, I use that as fuel.
There you go.
To do something where 2 years later, the person that should have invited me would think about it next time that he does, decide to do the event, that he will invite me.
Okay.
So I just use that as view. I use that as fuel. You know what I'm saying? I use that as okay.
Continue to keep going.
You invite me last year, but you're going to invite me next year. I'm going to do something for you to make me. I'm going to make you invite me next year.
That's right.
And if you don't invite me, you just hate me, and that's cool too. Because, like I said, there's 4 billion people on social media.
Social media, yeah.
And my reach is long because I'm passionate about reaching 4 billion people, about a post about one of my tapes or a post of honoring one of the pioneers. Yeah. I'm very aggressive about that. I'm very passionate about it. And sometimes, people like, oh, he just looking for the shine. I'm not looking for the shine. I just want to do what I love to do.
That's right.
And if I'm focused like that, then I'm going to do that.
That's right.
If I have the influence to get on Facebook and Instagram and reach out to hundreds of people to follow me, I'm going to do it.
Right.
So, I got 20,000 following me now on Facebook. Next year's goal, the goal for next year is to have 500,000. Because I want 500,000 people to see my posts.
That's right.
Because it's not about me. It's about these pioneers. It's about what they contribute to hip hop. They should be revered just like Drake, just like Mick Jagger, just like these rock and roll superstars and legends and pioneers. They should be revered like Elvis.
Right.
So I have to do the work.
Right.
So, I don't look at it.
You're already doing the work. You're putting it in.
Right. And then, I look at it as, okay, I got more work to do.
Yeah.
That's all I look at it. I look at it. I don't look at it as a negative. I'm like, okay, I still got work to do.
Right. Right.
So I don't get offended. I used to. Now, I'm not going to lie. I used to get offended. I'm like, why you invite me? But I understand just 1 or 2 people that's associated with the event may not like me.
That's right. Yeah. It's all good.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I look at that. I'm like, okay, I kind of figure why I didn't get invited. That's cool. But I'll try to do something else. And, that's the thing. And the thing about in New York, people in New York think that because we created hip hop means that it's supposed to remain here in New York. And that's not how hip hop reached billions of people, by keeping it in a box.
That thing goes out to the world. It goes out.
Yeah, you can't. So if I'm hip hop, you're not going to keep Geechie Dan in a box. You can't keep hip hop in a box. What makes you think you're going to keep Geechie Dan in a box?
Right.
That's not going to happen.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I have to go out and make it happen. And if I don't get no sleep, then I just don't get no sleep.
You're just going to keep making it happen.
Yeah.
How do you overcome self-doubt or imposter syndrome?
I pray a lot. I'm very grateful. So I always, if I feel like it's going to get to if I feel like my head is going to go, my ego going up, something I think about something that reminds me to bring it back down.
Okay.
I think about how I lost my home 8 years ago. I think about how I lost my car, how I lost my job, how I lost everything.
Yeah.
I get back to being humble. That money in my pocket it may look like a whole lot to people, but you know what? Maybe I don't need to spend all of it. Maybe I just need to spend $20 of it and just get something simple, to opposed to getting a bottle of Moet, or going out to the expensive restaurant to get the biggest steak. Yeah. I'm like, nah, I don't need to do all that. Let me just keep it simple, and let me just use my $20 to maybe
do something.
You know what I'm saying? What can I do with that little bit of money to do something real big? So I take the least amount of money to think about something, to do something big for hip hop. Not about me, but hip hop. Because like I said, it's always God first, my marriage second, and hip hop third, which would be ironically a title for a book that I came up with. God, hip hop, God, marriage, hip hop.
That was my before we close. That was my next question about writing. You know, writing a novel, writing a hip hop novel. Do you have a date? I mean, you have something already out, right? You have a book.
I had a book out that came out in 2008, but I'm working on 5-6 books now. A literary agent reached out to me recently, to put together a book on my tapes, which is going to be called The Book of Tapes, Volume 1, The Book of Tapes, Volume 2, and The Book of Tapes, Volume 3. Where it's going to be 3 volumes of books talking about my tape collection.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's 3 books already in the making. Mm-hmm. God, marriage, hip hop is another book that I want to do. I already have a book called what is it called again? It's about Pluto. Playing tapes on Pluto.
Oh, okay. Is it on Amazon? How can you get them?
No. I wrote the book already, but it's still in the.
It's not out in the process.
It's still in the beginning stages. You know, it's not something that I got a deal for right now. It's called A Park Jam on Pluto.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, cool. It's a futuristic type of a book on where the future of hip hop could possibly be on different planets with the tapes. So I wanted to do a book called A Park Jam on Pluto. Physically, it can't be done right now in 2024. It's impossible to do anything on another planet because of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And the time that it would take to get there. It would take 9 years to get to Pluto. One way.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere, and doing anything on Pluto, we humans can't even enter the atmosphere on Pluto.
Yeah,
so
it's not for us. Like we won't even make it.
So it would kill us immediately.
Yeah, it would.
So, but maybe down the line, maybe that could be explored with. Maybe I can get a collaboration with NASA to explore that idea of doing a park jam on Pluto.
Well, folks, that was it. Geechie Dan, his phone just died. You know, we had a nice long video. A nice long interview. We talked about everything. His phone died. But hopefully I can get a part 2, and I will. So viewers, peace out. This is A Vision Entertainment. We see you next time. Peace.